Hey, I'm live at 5. 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 Come on inside of the StreamYard room. Yep. Okay, so first, let me tell you how StreamYard playing these games. And I get it that it ain't them. But I just want to let all my entrepreneurs know that don't have their ears to the pavement and their feet to the pavement. Just know you no longer can use StreamYard to broadcast into your private groups. They've given you some workarounds. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to go to the live since we're live now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to forward it inside of the private group. But here's what I would say. If you normally join these lives inside of the private group, you might need to want to come on to the homepage. Hey, Sissy, how you doing? Thank you so much for sharing. So the conversation that we're going to have today, and LaShawn, I don't know if you could do this. Maybe you can. I don't want to take up people's time, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it while I'm here since I already know that this is what's happening in real life and not on TV. Let me just go ahead and put it inside the group and just say live at 5. So I'm putting that inside of the Career to Calling group. Hopefully you're there. If you're there, definitely hop on. I want to be in conversation with you. But again, just know StreamYard is not allowing us to actually broadcast into private groups anywhere. All the apps are going to be gone. So the Bible study class or the class that I was teaching or will be teaching on Sunday, overcoming fear, overcoming failure, is not going to be broadcast inside the group, not using StreamYard or Zoom. Right? It's all going away. So no third-party apps will be able to broadcast into groups. Y'all got it? Just let me know that you got it so you don't have to say that you don't know. So here's what I'm doing right now. If you would like to join me for that conversation, overcoming failure, when failure is not an option, I want to give you the link. It's a free class. Come join me Sunday, 7:00 p.m. We'll be in conversation. I just dropped the link. If you are actually joining me inside of the private group, come to the main page. All right, LaShawn says she got it. All right, so the conversation today is, I can do that tomorrow. And the question on the table is, can you really? So my name is Denise Merriweather. I am the CEO and founder of Queenpreneurs Jumpstart Program. It is the #1 training environment for women in the world looking to leverage their knowledge, ignite their passion, build a highly profitable business. How do you do this? By building your courage, confidence, and competence so you can accept, believe, and commit to what it is that God has called you to do. So look, the whole conversation is, can you do that tomorrow? And my question to you is, can you really? Do you really have time to push off? Like, this is what my mama used to say. Lord bless her. So she used to say, don't put off today. Don't put off until tomorrow what you could do today. Don't put off until tomorrow what you could do today. Do you get that? Don't wait sitting here talking about you going to do something tomorrow. I registered. Oh, thank you, Shawnee. Oh, I'm so excited. Can't wait to see you inside of that space. And it will be on Zoom. It ain't going to be broadcasted into the group, because Zoom will no longer be able to broadcast into the private group. So you're gonna have to come to the Zoom room in order to share that space with me. So I can do that tomorrow. So here's what I want to say to all of those who may have that as a mantra, may use that from time to time. I want you to say that you really don't have until tomorrow to do whatever it is that you need to be doing, right? As you look at your life, as you look at your goals and the things that you want to achieve in business, in your career, in your spiritual life, in your relationships, you don't have time to do whatever it is that you need to do tomorrow. It is to be done today. Why? Because tomorrow has its own cares. Tomorrow has its own responsibilities. There's things for you to do tomorrow, things that you know about and things that you don't know about. So if you continue to look at your to-do list or your priority list or whatever it is that you purpose in your heart to do, and you keep saying that you're going to do that thing tomorrow, you're only kicking the can down the road and you're missing out on the opportunity to move forward on whatever it is that you're working on. So you don't have until tomorrow, because tomorrow has its own list of things to do. So here's the thing that I want to kind of help you kind of get your mind wrapped around. Now, there are some things that I put on my dry erase board or my things to do list that requires more effort. So what I'm learning in my effectiveness class is that sometimes we're in this period of what they call concentration, where you're working real hard and you putting a lot of work in, right? Because this is how I hear people describe when they're working in their business and starting their business, that they're putting a whole lot in, but they're not getting a lot in return. Put this in the chat. It takes effort and it takes time. Put it in the chat. It takes effort and it takes time. Recently, when we had some Chinese food, I had this in my actual cookie. I thought it was amazing. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if it's clear enough, but I'm going to tell you what it says. I'm going to read it to you. It says, your investments of time now will lead to success later. So here's the thing. It takes effort and it takes time. And you continuing to push off stuff that you can do today for tomorrow, it's called wasting time. Put it in the chat. I will not waste time. I will not waste time. And here's where we get hung up when it comes to this area of concentration, where we got to put a whole lot of work in and we're not seeing a lot of results. Do you get that that's a part of the process? Let me know that you get that that's a part of the process, where you feel like you're doing a whole lot. You're doing a lot of running. You're sending out emails. You're inviting people. You're having a lot of conversations, but you get like 2 people that register, or you get like maybe 1 person that says something to you about something that you're putting out. Do you get that that's just part of the game? Put it in the chat. It's part of the game. It's part of how this works. Like, there's no way of getting around it. It's part of doing something new. So I want to actually explain to you what happens in this state and why you do not and cannot afford to put off the things that you need to do today to tomorrow. Because remember, tomorrow has its own cares. It has its own things that need to be done. And the longer it takes for you to get moving on the things that you need to do today is only pounding up on you tomorrow. So here's what I found. One thing that I've found just by being on top of the things to do list and the things that I have to do, I'm noticing that some of the things that I thought was going to be able to be done like in a day takes actually several days, like having conversations with lawyers and actually meeting up with team members and building registration pages and these certain things that you think that's going to just take like, oh, I could do this today. When you get into the work of it, when you start putting your hands to the plow, you'll get that one day probably not going to be enough time to do certain tasks. And then there's other tasks that's really quick and easy. You got to figure out which one works best for you to do first. Like when you actually get the smaller tasks done, do you get momentum and you're able to run quicker towards the hard things? Now I'm going to tell you what I found out about myself. And I don't know about you. When I get up in the morning in the 7 o'clock hour, and it's time for me to put that workout on in the 8 o'clock hour, I love that we do squats first, that we do legs first. Why? Because legs are the things that I dread the most, like doing them squats and them I don't even know what it's called, but you know when you put the one leg in front of the other one and then you pulsing, you dipping, and all you can feel is burn and fire. When you do the lunge, and you're going like this and you go like this and it's just burning for like 45 seconds. I'm so excited that I'm able to do that part first, and I don't have to feel that pain later on. Like it's the first thing that I get through. So I like to do my difficult things first so I can feel good about my accomplishment and I breeze through my easier things. But I don't know what it is for you. But sometimes you got to get that the things that you keep pushing, kicking down the road, maybe the things that you need to do first. Why? Because they're the most challenging. They're the one that you have the most conversation about. So sometimes things take longer than anticipated. Thank you, LaShawn. Number two. So here's another thing that I want you to kind of get when you're in this stage of putting that work in, to really like giving it your all, which you're not going to be able to stop. Like it could change, it could go transfer to other people. But once you kind of get things going, you want to stay in that rhythm. You don't want to take your foot off the gas. That's why once you get started and you stop, it's like working out. Like whenever I stop doing my workouts and I got to go back to it, it's more painful than it was when I started. Why? Because I remember how sore I was when I first started. Like my sister can attest to this. When I got back to working out, she was here. I was walking like a really old person and it was hurting. And every time I would sit down, I was moaning and groaning. And every time I walked down the stairs, I moaned and groaned. When I walked up the stairs, I moaned and groaned, right? But I had to push past that. And we're going to talk about pushing past things probably on Wednesday, but I had to push past the pain, past the getting started again, because I knew that if I just kept going one more day, that the pain would subside and I would actually be gaining momentum. Do you get that? So here's the thing that I want you to get for number 2 and wrap your loving arms around. Get that there's conversation happening in your head that you can't control. Put that in the chat. There's a conversation happening in my head that I can't control. So here's the thing to realize about the conversation. Remember how I tell you how your mind, I want you to do the opposite of what your mind is telling you to do. If your mind is telling you not to do something, you're tired, you don't feel like it, that's when I want you to do the Mel Robbins 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, right? And let me tell you what's actually happening. So your mind, remember how I told you we are machines. Put it in the chat. I'm a machine and I have been programmed. Put it in the chat. I'm a machine and I have been programmed. You have been programmed, right? Remember, you are programmed by your upbringing, your experience, people of authority, things that you read, things that you've taken on as belief. And that belief system actually is the filter of where you live your life from. So you live your life through a filter of belief, experiences, people of authority that you trust, and your natural program, the people you were raised by, like that's your program. And I want you to get that. Any experiences that may not have been great, and then whatever you made up to make sure that it never happened again, that's all part of your programming. So when you hear things, conversations in your head telling you, no, I don't feel like doing that, or no, I could do that tomorrow. Remember, that's just your programming protecting you from whatever fears or beliefs that you have that cause you disappointment, pain, all those type of things that may be holding you back. So when you hear that conversation happening in your head, it is imperative that you take the action that aligns with your goal. Put it in the chat. I will take the actions that align with my goal. Don't listen to the voice in your head telling you could do it tomorrow. Don't listen to the voice in your head telling you could do it later. Don't listen to the voice in your head saying, oh, they're not going to like that idea, or no, they won't talk to you, or no, they're not going to feel like supporting that, or nobody really said that they're interested in this. Don't listen to that voice. That voice is protective mechanism. It's automatic. It's something there that's pulling, as Iyanla would say, from old files and old cabinets, right? It can feel and sense when change or challenge is coming. Put it in the chat. My brain that God has blessed me with can sense when there's a change or a challenge that's on the way, or that you're contemplating, or you're thinking about it, that you want to do, because your mind don't like changes either. It's just built that way. It's a program. It likes being on automatic pilot. That's why it takes work in order to develop yourself. Put this in the chat. I will develop myself in 2024. I will develop myself in 2024, because that's when you can recognize these conversations that you're having in your head that's controlling you, that is not the real you. It's not helping you reach your goals. It's not getting you to where you want to be unless it aligns with what you put down on paper. Remember when you think about scripture and it says cast a vision and make it plain. We talked about this the other day. Do you get that you cast vision first before you start writing stuff down? Do you get that there's a creation mode first before you start making steps? But here is the thing. Normally, you have to see yourself where you want to go first. Put that in the chat. I have to see myself having obtained the thing first before I can get the steps of what to do. Do you get that? Like, you got to have the picture in your head on what it feels like to be successful, what it feels like to run $1 million business, what it feels like to be able to impact people all over the country, right? You have to be there first and then talk about the things that that person would be doing. And when you do that, reverse engineer, we always talk about it, go from December to whatever, November to October and whatever other months you want to write down your actions to get where you're going, to be able to actually plan from standing on the mountaintop, or the success, or having a multi-million-dollar business, or being married, or living in a house, or having the car that you always dreamed of. Whatever it is, stand there first and know that you cannot create steps from the present. Put this in the chat. I will stop creating actions from the present. Why is that so important? It's so important that you don't create your vision or your steps from the present, because you are not who you need to be today in order to get the thing you want in the future. You're someone else today. You're the person that don't have it in your hands yet. That's why you got to visualize and then write the plan and make it plain. Visualize and make it plain, because if you do it now, it's going to be from a limited point of view. It's going to be from that subjective mindset. The conversations that you hear going on in your head is going to tell you, no, you can't really do that. That's not realistic. And how is that going to be possible? You don't even have the money in your account. See, that conversation, which may be factual, like we get that. You may not have it right now. You may not have all the tools right now. You may not know all the people right now. We get that. We get all of that. Everybody gets it. That's how everybody starts. We don't have all the things that we need. But when you're standing, having received it, your feet are already there. You've already on the mountaintop. You are feeling the experience. You see the things you see visually. Then you make the plan based on what you see, not on what you have today. Because you ain't the person today. But as you fall in love with the plan that you're making, it's going to give you the actions that you should be taking every day. Do y'all get that? So after you do the work and you get that you're a program and you get that it's going to take longer, some steps going to take longer than you thought, and there's going to be conversations happening in your head, but despite the conversations in your head, you still got to make them, you still got to visualize, you still got to make the plan, and then you got to take the appropriate actions for what it is that you want to see. The last thing that I want to say to you about this putting off until tomorrow things that you could do today, and I know that it's hard to say that you would miss opportunities, right? But I do think that you do miss out on opportunities. There's certain things and decisions that you make that don't come back around full circle. But you got to make sure whatever decision you make that you're okay and that you can live with it. So you don't want to wait to make the phone call for the partnership. But number 3 is you can miss out on opportunities. Just put number 3 is you can, in fact, miss out on opportunities. Sometimes we like to stand in that place that if it's meant for me, it's meant for me. And that's great. That's great. And I get that. And I do believe that you can recreate or create something that you want, even if you miss out on the opportunity with a particular person, company, job that you could have done it with. Do you get that? Like, do you get that you really do miss out? I mean, how many past relationships you've been in where you see the person later and they're like, man, I really missed out. Like, you won. You were the person that I really probably should have been given the time to. I really messed over the relationship. I apologize. I'm sorry. Right? It's a real thing. Like, when you get to a realization that you missed out, especially if they find out that you married someone else or that you're in a healthy relationship, or even companies like, man, we should have never let you go, or we should have never, did what we did or made the decision that we did. You are someone that we miss out or miss having, right? You do get that, right? That's a real feeling. That's a real experience. That's real regret. And you, my sweet darlings, you are living this life to have no regrets. So to have no regrets, meaning when you have instructions, like when you get, okay, time for you to make the call, time for you to make the jump, time for you to do this, you can't be hesitant on doing what intuition, opportunity meets preparation. Like, when you're in those moments, you got to jump in, that you got to get in, because you don't want to miss out. Oh, it's like the guy, come on, let me spiritual connection. You remember the guy that was sitting at the pool and every time it got stirred up, he couldn't make it in? Like, he was waiting year after year because his belief was, if I can get into the pool when it's stirred up, I would be healed. And the question that was asked is, why are you not healed? Right? Like, it was him and Jesus, I think, was having a conversation, and he was just like, well, why haven't you gotten in the pool yet? And he was just like, well, I don't have anybody here to put me in, right? And it was more of a mentality. It was more of, no, you already have everything that you need to get what it is that you're looking for. You just won't take the necessary steps or actions to get it. You keep waiting and saying that you're waiting for the right opportunity, you're waiting for the person, you're waiting for the right amount of money, you're waiting to whatever, feel good or whatever. Forget all of that. Forget it. Forget the feeling good. Forget the insights, right? Remember, the world of performance is the only place where results live. And if you're not taking the actions that align with the goals that you want, you're not going to get the thing. So forget all of the conversations that you're not prepared, you don't know the right people. Just take the action, because you don't want to miss out on the opportunity that's before you because you don't feel prepared or you don't feel qualified. When, if you truly believe, see, this is why we have these doubts about God and about the things that we say, because we don't believe that when the opportunity comes, the opportunity is for us. We still think there's more preparation to do. We still think that we need more time, and all of that, it contradicts. It contradicts that everything that's for me is for me. And if you believe that things coming your direction, it ain't nothing you should be passing up on. Do you get it? When the ship pass by, when the opportunity come by, that is your opportunity to reach out and grab it. And know that if you don't, there may be an opportunity that it passed by again. But guess what? There may be a chance that it won't. And whatever decision that you make, hey, don't feel bad. No regrets. Just know that you chose, and you chose freely. Be content with the choice, not the decision, the choice that you made. Because when you're making the decision, you're cutting out something. And you don't have to cut out anything. We make choices. We powerfully choose what we want because we want it. It ain't because of, or to not have, or not lose, or nope. All of that are considerations, and don't nobody care about that. That's not a powerful choice. That is a choice that you're being forced to make. If you feel like you didn't have a choice besides to say yeah, or you didn't have a choice to say no, that ain't a choice. That's a decision. Meaning you cut out some other stuff in order for that to happen. Wrong. That ain't how we live in life. Not in 2024. We choosing. We making choices. We, after all the considerations, after all the reasons why, after what good can happen and what bad can happen, and the hiccups and the mishaps and the ups and the downs, after all of that, I might lose my friend. I might lose some money. I might lose my house. I might lose this relationship. Okay, great. Got it. Now, once you have considered all those things, what do you choose? You got it? All right, so listen. I want you to be okay with everything that you're choosing to do and choosing not to do. I want you to be secure in your choices. I want you to powerfully know what it is that you want, because remember, we talked about this last week. The reason why a lot of us can't move forward is because we have no idea of what it is that we want. We just do a whole bunch of talking. We waste a whole bunch of time. We go in places and spaces and have no idea why we're there. We haven't made a list of impacts that we want to make. We don't know people that we want to do business with or connect with or build something with. We haven't talked to anybody, built anybody up. Oh, y'all remember the 5, 5, and 5? Hopefully y'all doing the 5, 5, and 5, right? The 5 people that you look up to, the 5 people that you're growing with, the 5 people that you're pouring into. If you subscribe to that, put it in the chat, 5, 5, and 5. If you don't subscribe to it, just be like, no, not me. No, not me. But it gives you something to put your focus, right? So I heard Shay say this today, right? And it's something that they used to say all together. We used to work with them as our brand managers, him, and I can't think of the other gentleman. That is just crazy. It slips my mind. But he always talked about powerful people asking powerful questions. And powerful questions give you focus. And when you focus, you reach the goals that you set for yourself. But if you have no questions, if you're not spending time thinking and dreaming, then where's your focus? Like, where's your focus? How do you know how to live each day if, again, there's no vision? Because without the vision, the people perish. You're just wasting time. You're just wasting the days away. And I don't want you to do that. So look, that's our message for today. Don't put off. Do not put off until tomorrow the things that you could do today, because tomorrow got a whole lot of stuff that's going to need to be done. And you need to be focused and doing what you need to do now. All right. Hey, that's the message. Catch me here on Wednesday. If you want to join me for the conversation about overcoming failure when failure is not an option. I want you to go ahead and register. I look forward to seeing you there. I'm here on Mondays, Wednesdays, Friday, 5 o'clock p.m. for the Live at 5. You don't want to miss it. If you want to coach with me, if you want to work with me, you want to have a discovery call, go to my website, www.denisemerriweather.com. You can set up a consultation there or a discovery call there. I have a link tree. You can do it there. You can DM me. You got so many different ways that you can get in contact with me if you believe I'm your person. And hopefully, if nothing else, something has been said today that'll get you moving in the direction of getting things done today that need to be done today, so you'll be prepared and have space to handle the things for tomorrow. Hey, I'm live